The Panopticon planet? Are we free citizens? Or inmates on parole in a digital prison?
We are not living in a literal prison, but many of the mechanisms that define a prison constant observation. Identity capture, behavior prediction, and automated logging have spread into everyday life. The strongest proof is not philosophy alone, but the modern surveillance stack. Exposed security cameras streaming live over the internet, face recognition systems, and biometric databases that can record who you are, where you went, and when you were there. The phantom bars. Imagine for a moment that you are an inmate. You are confined to a cell, your movements are restricted, your conversations are monitored, and a camera follows your every step in the communal areas. You are never truly alone. This is the price of your transgression against society. The logic goes. You surrendered your privacy when you surrendered your freedom. Now step out of that cell and onto the bustling street of any major city. Look up, look at the lampposts, the traffic lights, the storefronts, the passing car with its sleek dashboard. Walk into your office, your gym, or sit down in a coffee shop. Are you truly any less watched? Are you any less cataloged? We scoff at the concept of the prison planet as a dystopian fantasy. Yet we have quietly, and with our own tacit permission, constructed one. We walk freely, but our shadows, our data, our images, our movements remain shackled. This is not hyperbole. It is a technical reality. And it demands we ask a chilling question. If we are being tracked, recorded, and analyzed with greater technological intensity than the average maximum security inmate, what is the actual definition of our freedom? If we are innocent, why are we treated as suspects in a pre-crime database? Think back over the last hour. Before you started reading this, where did you go? How many times do you think your face, your gait, or your presence was captured by a lens that you did not own? Can you count that high? The inmate's gaze life inside the physical Panopticon. To understand our current predicament, we must first understand the benchmark of incarceration. The modern prison, a high-security facility, is the closest real-world manifestation of Jeremy Bentham's Panopticon. A circular prison where a single watchman can observe all inmates without them knowing if they are being watched. The psychological effect is not the constant watching, but the constant possibility of being watched. In facilities like a DX Florence or Belmarsh, surveillance is overt. Concrete and steel are the primary barriers. But the secondary barrier is digital. Perimeter surveillance. Cameras cover fences, yards, and no-go zones. Internal surveillance. Cameras monitor hallways, mess halls, and cells. Inmates are tracked via RFID bracelets or biometric scans for movement and head counts. Communication surveillance. Every phone call is recorded, every piece of mail is read, and every email is logged. The inmate knows the system is there to contain them. It is a hostile architecture designed to prevent action. The warden is an identified authority. The rules of surveillance are written in the inmate handbook. There is a brutal honesty to the prison's gaze. It says, "We do not trust you. We will watch you until we release you." Let us hold that image in our minds. The constant, unblinking eye, the logging of movement, the storage of data. It is the architecture of control. If a prison is defined by its walls and watchtowers, what are our cities? A labyrinth of glass and steel watchtowers hidden in plain sight? The citizen's gaze life inside the digital Panopticon. Step outside. The architecture of our world is no longer just stone and steel. It is code and silicon. The warden is no longer a single entity, but a hydra-headed beast of government agencies, corporate algorithms, and data brokers. Unlike the prison, there is no handbook. The rules are hidden in terms of service agreements that no one reads. Let us quantify the free world's surveillance apparatus. It operates on 3 levels: the public, the corporate, and the covert. The public eye, government and municipal surveillance. Across the globe, cities are wiring themselves into observatories. London, UK, is often cited as the surveillance capital of the Western world. Estimates vary wildly, but it is widely accepted that there is 1 camera for every 11 to 15 people in the city. The British Security Industry Authority suggests there could be over 5 million cameras in the UK alone. These are not just for traffic. They are PTZ cameras capable of reading a newspaper from hundreds of meters away. The 40,000 camera warning. One of the clearest recent examples is BitSight's finding of more than 40,000 exposed connected security cameras, streaming live footage over the internet. Reporting on the discovery described footage from private homes, offices, factories, hospitals, data centers, and other sensitive locations accessible through a browser and an IP address, often without authentication. Those feeds were not merely recording history. They were broadcasting real-time life to whoever stumbled upon them, or whoever went looking with bad intent. The technologies involved were not exotic. The exposed devices commonly used HTTP or RTSP streaming, which means the vulnerability was often a basic misconfiguration rather than science fiction. The result is still profound. A global viewing system that can turn ordinary places into open windows, and ordinary people into unwitting subjects. China, the undisputed leader in state surveillance. The Skynet system and the Sharp Eyes project aim to cover every public square, street, and intersection. It is integrated with facial recognition and connected to social credit systems. In a nation of 1.4 billion, it is estimated that over 200 million surveillance cameras are operational. The state uses this to track Uyghur minorities and dissidents, creating a blueprint for digital authoritarianism. United States, while more fragmented, fusion centers combine data from local police, the FBI, and DHS. Cities like Chicago operate Operation Virtual Shield, a network of thousands of cameras linked to a real-time monitoring center that can track a suspect across the city. The corporate gaze, the cameras that never sleep. This is where the distinction between prison and planet blurs into near indistinguishability. The prison cameras record, but corporate America streams. And worse, it archives with your name attached. Amazon Ring, acquired by Amazon. Ring has built a partnership with over 2,000 police departments across the US. Homeowners voluntarily install cameras that record their streets, their neighbors' houses, and public sidewalks. This footage is often shared with law enforcement without a warrant, creating a voluntary surveillance state where citizens surveil citizens. The footage is stored in the cloud, creating a searchable database of neighborhood activity. Google Maps and Street View. For years, Google cars have driven every street, capturing images of your house, your car in the driveway, and you walking your dog. While faces and license plates are theoretically blurred, the raw data exists. And with advances in AI, deblurring is becoming increasingly trivial. Clearview AI. This is the smoking gun of the argument. Clearview AI is a company that scraped billions of images from social media sites without user consent. They created a facial recognition database that allows law enforcement and government agencies to upload a photo of a stranger and instantly identify them. It turns a photograph into an identity. It turns anonymity into a historical relic. The covert feed. When technology betrays us, the thesis of our comparison hinges on the live streaming of our lives. While a prison camera feeds to a secure server in a control room, our free cameras often feed to the world. IoT devices. Internet of Things is a marketing term for microphones and cameras in your living room. In recent years, we have seen countless stories of insecure baby monitors being hacked and strangers talking to children. We have seen smart TVs that listen for voice commands and potentially listen to everything else. Hacked webcams. There exist websites, often in Russia or Eastern Europe, that stream unsecured security camera feeds from around the world. You can watch a family eating dinner in a Parisian apartment, a cashier in a Dallas convenience store, or a man working in his garage in Tokyo. These are not government spies. They are private citizens who failed to change the default password on their camera. And now their private lives are a public spectacle for anyone with a URL. Automatic license plate readers, ALPRs. These are cameras mounted on police cars, bridges, and even private tow trucks. They scan every license plate that passes. In the US, companies like Vigilant Solutions have built databases of billions of plate scans. This creates a historical map of where every car has been, who you visit, where you work, and where you sleep. Question. In a prison, they monitor your behavior to prevent you from escaping. In our world, we are monitored to predict our behavior. Is being a predictable consumer any different from being a compliant inmate? The architecture of harm when data becomes a weapon. It is easy to dismiss this as paranoia. The prison record follows you. Our digital shadow follows us, and it can be used against us with devastating precision. When a security camera streams your image live, it is broadcasting your biometric key. If that stream is intercepted or if the database where that image is stored is breached, your biometrics are compromised forever. A password can be changed, a face cannot. predictive policing and pre-crime. In prison, you are punished for what you did. In the digital Panopticon, you can be targeted for what you might do. If an algorithm flags that your pattern of life, your purchases, your travel, your social media connections matches a profile, you can be subjected to extra scrutiny. The Chicago Police Department has used heat lists of individuals predicted to be involved in violence. Being on the list is based on data, not action. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of police harassment, social credit, and financial discrimination. Insurance companies are already using data from your car's telematics and your social media to adjust your premiums. Imagine a future where a security camera catches you jaywalking. That data is sold to a health insurer, and your rates go up because you are categorized as a risk taker. We are building the infrastructure for a global social credit system, not run by a single state, but by a chaotic web of corporations seeking to monetize compliance. The weaponization of embarrassment. The prison's walls contain your shame. Our cameras broadcast it. Every embarrassing snippet is all captured, stored, and can be retrieved and weaponized at any point in the future. This creates a culture of performative perfection and constant anxiety. We are not free to be human because to be human is to be flawed, and flaws are now eternal evidence. Question: if a stranger in a foreign country can log onto a website right now and watch the inside of your local coffee shop, the ghosts in the machine, the secret shady entities, we are surveilled, but by whom? In prison, you know the guard's name. In the city, the watchers are nameless, faceless, and often deniable. They operate in the shadows between legality and technology. Data brokers. Companies like Axiom, Oracle Data Cloud, and Experian are the ghost wardens. They don't put cameras on poles. They buy the data from the cameras. Your car's location data and your public court records. Facial recognition companies, the Clearview AI model. As mentioned, Clearview AI is the tip of the iceberg. They operate in a legal gray area, arguing that scraping public photos is protected by the First Amendment. They have built a database that makes anonymity impossible. They are a private company providing a surveillance tool to the government, bypassing the need for public oversight. The Five Eyes Alliance. This is an intelligence alliance comprising Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Leaked documents from Edward Snowden revealed that these nations engage in upstream surveillance, sucking data directly from the fiber optic cables that constitute the backbone of the internet. They are not just watching public feeds. They are siphoning the content of private emails, texts, and searches, storing them in massive data warehouses in Utah and elsewhere. They are watching everything that flows through the pipes. Vigilante surveillance. Platforms like Nextdoor and Telegram channels have turned neighbor against neighbor. People post photos of suspicious individuals, often minorities or the homeless, creating a crowdsourced suspicion database. This is surveillance without training, without oversight, and without accountability. The common thread here is opacity. We do not know the criteria these entities use. We do not know how long they keep our data. We do not know who they sell it to. We are suspects in a trial where the charges are unknown, the evidence is invisible, and the judge is an algorithm. Question: if a stranger followed you all day, noted every purchase you made, photographed everyone you spoke to, and listened to your phone calls, you would call the police. Why then do we accept this when the stalker is a corporation or a government agency? The prisoner's dilemma: why we accept our cell. If the comparison is so stark, why are there no riots in the streets? Why do we meekly walk past the cameras and click I agree? We have been pacified by a trade-off that was sold to us as a bargain: privacy for convenience. The prison inmate has no choice. We, however, have been given the illusion of choice. We choose to carry smartphones that track us because they connect us to our loved ones. We chose to install the smart speaker because it plays our music. We choose to walk down the brightly lit, camera-covered street because we feel safer. But this is a false binary. We are told that the only alternative to a surveilled world is a chaotic, dangerous one. This is the ultimate lie of the surveillance state. The safety myth. Despite millions of cameras, crime rates are determined by socio-economic factors, not lens density. Cameras don't prevent crime. They just move it to an unobserved block, or they document it after the fact. They do, however, ensure that every minor infraction is recorded, criminalizing poverty and public life. The convenience myth. We've traded our privacy for free apps. But we are not the customer. We are the product. The free email service reads our emails to sell ads. The free map tracks our location to build traffic patterns that are then sold to urban planners. We are paying with our most valuable asset, our identity, for services that cost pennies to maintain. We have accepted the cell because the bars are made of convenience, and the locks are made of fear. We have been convinced that being watched is the price of being safe and connected. But as the philosopher Michel Foucault argued, the goal of the Panopticon is to induce in the inmate a state of conscious and permanent visibility that assures the automatic functioning of power. We have internalized the guard. We police ourselves. We don't run the red light, not because it's dangerous, but because there might be a camera. Question: if you were offered $1 million to live in a luxurious apartment for a year, but with the condition that every room had a camera live streaming to the internet, would you take it? Our modern world offers us the camera, but not the $1 million. Is the free social media dopamine hit really worth the permanent surveillance? The logical call to action, tearing down the digital walls. We have arrived at a sobering conclusion. The technological infrastructure of our planet now mirrors, and in many ways exceeds, the surveillance density of a high-security prison. We are tracked, logged, analyzed, and predicted by entities we cannot name, for purposes we cannot control. The only substantive difference between the inmate and us is that we are allowed to leave our homes to go to work. But perception is not reality. The free planet is a managed one. The secret, shady entities are betting that you will remain docile, that you will continue to trade your liberty for convenience, and that you will accept this as the inevitable cost of modernity. They are betting wrong, but only if we act. Logic dictates that a system that treats everyone as a suspect is an illegitimate system. Here is your logical call to action, a roadmap from observation to rebellion. We must demand legislation that treats privacy as a human right, not a commodity. Demand a ban on government use of warrantless facial recognition. If the police need a warrant to search your home, they should need one to search your face in a database. Demand a federal privacy law in the US that mirrors the GDPR in Europe. This means the right to know what data is held on you, the right to have it deleted, and the right to sue companies that mishandle it. Demand a ban on the use of biometric data for any purpose without explicit, informed, opt-in consent. No more scraping of photos from social media. 2. The technical shield, obscurity and opacity. We cannot wait for the laws to catch up. We must build our own armor. Use privacy tools, ad blockers, VPNs, virtual private networks, and privacy-focused browsers like Brave are not just for tech nerds. They are the seatbelts of the digital age. Use them. Opt out. Turn off biometric features on your devices. Disable cloud photo analysis. Cover your laptop camera when not in use. It's a simple, physical act of defiance. Deplatform the surveillors. Support companies that respect privacy. Avoid products from companies whose business model is surveillance, like Meta, Facebook. 3. The cultural shift. Stigmatize the watchers. Surveillance must become culturally unacceptable. Shame bad actors. When a company is caught in a data breach or shady practice, do not forget. Make it toxic for them to recruit talent. Support investigative journalism. The stories of Clearview AI and the NSA were broken by journalists. We must fund and support the media that holds power accountable. Knowledge is the first weapon against tyranny. Talk about it. Break the social taboo. Don't let people dismiss your concerns as conspiracy theories. Present the facts. Discuss the cameras on the street. Ask your friends if they know who owns the data from their Ring doorbell. Normalize the conversation about privacy. 4. The final act. Civil disobedience in the digital realm. When the laws are unjust, civil disobedience is the highest form of patriotism. If we are living in a digital prison, we must act like prisoners seeking freedom. Organize opt-out days. Coordinate with your community to turn off all smart devices for a day. Show the data brokers what a data desert looks like. Support and use anti-surveillance fashion. Wear clothing or makeup designed to confuse facial recognition algorithms, like the CV Dazzle project. It is a visual protest, a declaration that you refuse to be a data point. Whistleblower protection. We must create a culture that protects and venerates whistleblowers. They are the torches in the dark. Without Snowden, we would not know the half of it. The comparison between the prison and the planet is not meant to diminish the suffering of the incarcerated. It is meant to shock us into recognizing our own chains. We did nothing wrong. That is the precise reason we should not be watched. The burden of proof, the necessity of suspicion, belongs to the state and the corporation, not the citizen. The walls of this digital prison are not made of stone. They are made of apathy. They are made of light and code. And unlike concrete, light can be blocked and code can be rewritten. The question is not whether we are in a prison. The question is, will we be the inmates, or will we be the architects of our own escape? Freedom is not the absence of walls alone. It is the absence of invisible cages. We should insist on a world where surveillance is exceptional, proportionate, and accountable, not ambient, permanent, and secretly profitable. The next time someone says, "You have nothing to worry about," the real reply is this: a free person does not surrender the right to move through the world without becoming a searchable file. The time to act is not tomorrow. It is now. Every second you wait, your face is being scanned, your path is being logged, and your freedom is being archived. Break the lens. Reclaim your shadow.
Please tell me what you think and how you feel about this issue. Analyze it, brainstorm it, debate it, and if you like it, please share it. Thank you for watching. I truly and highly appreciate you, and God bless you.